volunteers would plant fruit, nut trees, and other edible landscaping, and they'd maintain them, and these would be people with strong commitments to this program, similar to the flower garden program that's in the city currently. So what do you think are good and bad things that are likely to come from a program like this if it comes to pass, and where do you stand on the issue?
When I came into office in 1989, they piled all these things on a desk, and one of them was, oh, by the way, we're under a mandate for a new state-imposed recycling program, and we have to have it implemented, like next week. Well, it wasn't quite that bad. And so we went out and we quickly developed several models for making it work. We went to several different neighborhoods. We found families that were interested in recycling. We went over with them all of the options, and then they told us what they wanted to try. And then we implemented several different tests, and we saw what worked, and that ended up launching within a couple of years. We came to be recognized as the best recycling program in the United States. I think the same process should be used in this particular instance. I have concerns. I think a lot of people have concerns whether or not the plants are going to be maintained, whether or not, if they're not maintained, are they going to end up attracting various kinds of pests. Let's identify a couple of different ways to do it. Let's try it in a couple different areas, see what the commitments are, and see what works. And then, once we've tried a couple of models, we'll adopt the success.
Well, I support it. This is part of a movement called urban agriculture. And I think on our watch in the last 8 years, I think we've just about doubled the amount of land given to community gardens. And of course, CSAs are huge, and we've started new farmers markets. On the north side, we started a new farmers market with the help of the emerging neighborhood funds I mentioned earlier. It's a huge and very healthy thing. And this program called Madison Fruits and Nuts, I'm not making that up, they named themselves that, so Madison Fruits and Nuts, came up with an extension of this idea, which is that we would grow not just vegetables in our parks, but actual fruit, we'd plant fruit and nut trees and harvest them. And I think it's a wonderful idea. However, lawyers got involved, and this created complications. And I don't really blame the lawyers, because they were pointing out that if you have a private group that goes in and with the best of intentions plants these fruit and nut trees, well, you got to ask all the lawyers questions, about liability for someone climbing in the tree picking the fruit, or the fruit isn't picked and it falls and people slip on rotting apples and stuff like that. It's the kind of stuff you have to think about in order to be responsible when somebody's making a semi-permanent installation on public land. And so there's this kind of tension between the folks who are very enthusiastic about this and just wanted to do it, and the folks who were, looking out for the broader public interest in city government. And so I asked Alder Satya Rhodes Conway, who's been a real advocate for this, to sort of get in the middle of it and see what she could do about working it out. And I think she has. She's come up with a solution that I think is going to make a lot of sense. It sort of keys off an ordinance that we have about placing those neighborhood signs in the right of way. And there are some protocols that work around that may work for this program, and we can get all that solved, and we can go off and plant our fruit and nut trees.
Do I get a rebuttal?
Yes.
I don't like those signs in the right of way.